Like many other people, I've been rewatching the Paper Mario Thousand Year Door remake trailer over and over again. Look man, the music is just really good. And doing so has led me to quite an interesting observation. There's a lot of weird stuff here, a lot of little strange changes that I would like to bring up. I don't exactly know what all these things mean, but once I've gone through all of them, I will discuss what my theories are. So, let's start off with the fact that the brothers' home place area has been slightly shifted. If you look at the original Thousand Year Door opening, you'll notice that the back half of the house just doesn't exist. At all. Like, you should definitely be able to see the back part of it, where the bros' bedroom is, from this angle, but no. Guess not. Now, this is just perfectly fine. The game's not a one-to-one remake exactly. You know, they took a bunch of the elements of the game, spruced them up, and of course part of that will involve maps being changed slightly in size and whatnot. However, it still is an interesting thing to note. Another interesting thing to note is inside of the bros' house, this being the map on the wall. Yes, on the wall is a map which bears a heavy resemblance to the map of the general Mushroom Kingdom and surrounding area seen in Paper Mario 64. Now again, I don't think this means much. See, in the original game, and by the original game I mean Thousand Year Door, there was also a map on that wall, but it was just some random old torn up map. There wasn't exactly any links to any previous Mario games or anything really. It's just a texture that they threw up to replace the board in the first game that was like, hey, you know, you've gotten this many star pieces, and you know, I legitimately can't remember anything else. Maybe there's something there about, like, your quiz winnings? I don't know, I never really used it. So yeah, more than likely, this could just be a neat little reference to the first game because it's better than some random torn-up map that means nothing. Plus, with the addition of a portrait featuring all of the partner characters in Paper Mario 64, yeah, it fits making that little Paper Mario 64 sanctuary. Oh yeah, by the way, I don't find that photo thing being there weird, because in Super Paper Mario we had one for them and one for the Thousand Year Door partners, so it just feels like they wanted to add a wee bit more continuity, so they slapped it in there, which, you know what, fair enough. Alright, enough meandering. Let's get on to the big weird thing of this trailer. Right after the section featuring the book being opened, you know, the classic Thousand Year Door opening cutscene type thing, well not quite opening cutscene, the cutscene that plays if you leave yourself on the main menu for too long. We get part of the opening cutscene with Paragary coming down, here's your letter, mail time, all that nonsense, but the big thing here is the music that's playing. It's not the Thousand Year Door's cutscene music remade, no. It is the Paper Mario 64 title screen music. I do not understand why that is there in the slightest. I struggle to think of any theory that really fits as to why that's the case. Maybe it's the new title screen music. No, it can't be, because we hear the proper Thousand Year Door title screen music later on in the trailer. And being entirely honest with you, I struggle to think where else in the game this tune would fit. Maybe it is the new music that's playing during that starting cutscene, but it doesn't fit. It's a title screen music from a different game, you know? It doesn't quite fit this, oh, well, here's this calm scene at the house, oh look, they got a letter. It just doesn't. So what exactly does this mean? Did they make the song just for this trailer? Again, I really doubt it. So that just leaves us with two possibilities. Either A, they are remaking Paper Mario 64, or B, it's part of some new sleuth of big new things being added to this Thousand Year Door remaster, remake, whatever the hell you want to call it. So let's break down these two possibilities. First one being the Paper Mario 64 remake. I don't think we are getting a Paper Mario 64 remake. See, thing is, as much as Thousand Year Door is loved more than the first Paper Mario game, which makes no sense, that one's better, but anyway, Nintendo surely would think, we are working on two remakes at the moment. We should probably release the first game first. I very highly doubt that Nintendo would be working on these two remakes side by side and would just randomly pluck the music from one and throw it into a trailer for the other. Plus, again, if they were being worked on side by side, I really feel like they would make the first game be the priority of being finished first, and then Thousand Year Door afterwards. I also don't think that a Paper Mario 64 remake is part of the Thousand Year Door one here, because if it was, Nintendo would have advertised that. The one thing that sells better than a remake of one game is a remake of 2 games for the price of 1. So I definitely doubt that we're getting a Paper Mario 1 and 2 remake mixed into this. So that only leaves the option of we're getting some amount of new content in this remake, which is the most reasonable explanation for why in God's name this song appeared. Plus, as seen in the trailer, we are actually getting some amount of new content. As you've definitely heard about by now, in the Glitz Pit general area, you see this purple toad dude. Now, in the original Thousand Year Door, there were no toads that look like this, so it's a new design and a new outfit. And also just a new NPC in general. It is an entirely new thing, well, bar the fact it's a toad. Now, I highly doubt this specific character will hold any sort of relevance. In fact, it might just be there to go, hey, remember, you can grind pound, but still, fact is, it's a new character with a new design being put into this game. This means that it's not totally out of the question, totally, oh, very clever, to think that we're getting some more new content in this. In fact, during another rewatch of the trailer I did just before I started the editing here, I noticed another interesting thing. In the original Thousand Year Door, whenever you first strike an enemy, which is to say whenever you hit them with a hammer, or a partner's ability, or with a jump to initiate the battle, there is no little jingle type thing. However, in the original Paper Mario 64, there is a little noise whenever you do this. There's also a noise whenever you fail at doing this. The interesting thing is, in this trailer, whenever a battle is started, not from a first strike, just the battle starts itself, we hear a new, modernized version of that same jingle from Paper Mario 64. Initially, I thought, well, hey, maybe they're adding this song from Paper Mario 64 to this Thousand Year Door remake, so that finally, Thousand Year Door will actually, have a proper song lead-in for whenever you get a first strike. And hey, who knows, you might even get a proper song lead-in whenever you fail getting a first strike and an enemy hits you first. But then I realized that in the trailer, the Goomba just walks into Mario. It's not a first strike, it's not an enemy strike, it's just a normal battle initiation. So what's going on here? Is it just that because it's a trailer they didn't want to show off the intricate details, like, first strikes and whatnot? Well, probably not, considering the fact we see a super guard in the bloody trailer. So, it, again, seems like a little bit of music that has been made just for the trailer. But I don't think they're making music just for the trailer. So where could this fit in? Once again, probably into some new thing we haven't even considered yet. So, yeah, I'll let past me get on with what said new things could be. So there are 3 main avenues to what exactly they could be doing here. A, the fan pleaser itself, Paper Luigi and the Marvelous Compass. We got B, which is the restoration of a bunch of seemingly randomly cut bits from the original version of TTYD. Or C, their own thing. While C is the most likely, let's still have a wee bit of a chat about A and B, alright? In Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, you bump into Luigi a number of times whenever you return to the main area road port in many different locations with many different pals with him. Each time you find him, he tells you a new chapter of his wondiferous adventure. Yeah, Luigi on an adventure. Wow, it's not like he's done that, 3 times, excluding Paper Mario games, new Super Mario Bros. Games, like, even just normal Super Mario Bros. Games. Galaxy 1, Galaxy 2. He's gone on many an adventure at this point, but, back then it was kind of a big deal. And also in the Paper Mario universe, if it is counted as its own separate thing, he hadn't really done much. During this, he goes on a wondiferous quest to save Princess Waffle, I think. Or maybe it's Princess Eclair of the Waffle Kingdom. Again, it's been a while since I played the game. I'm sorry. So, for a very, very long time now, fans have wanted to actually see that adventure for themselves. And I mean, hey, during that adventure, Luigi gets in a bride's dress, so I want to see it too. But I'm not too sure if Nintendo would do this. See, one big element of his adventure is the fact that it is so wacky, but you don't actually get to see any of it. Just hearing Luigi telling you of all this and just being like, that can't be real, but having to accept the truth that probably is part of the fun. So playing through it yourself would kind of take away that joy of going, huh, Luigi, I don't believe you at all, but I'm gonna trust you on this. but at the same time, actually being able to play through his wacky adventures and going, wow, how did he do that, would be equally, if not more, exciting and fun. So. Pathway B, scrapped content. In the original Thousand Year Door, there are scrapped sprites for all the Paper Mario 64 partners. Alright, now only 2 of them ended up showing up in the game. This being Paracari, who we saw in the trailer by the by, and Lady Bow, who... Look, I just gotta assume that someone on the team was a really, really big fan of booze, because, like, when you consider the ones running that one shop you have to go through to get to the Mafia guy, yeah, no, I definitely think there's something like that going on here. So yes, this sadly meant that we didn't get to see Lackluster, or Spike as it must be called. You know, we didn't get to see Sushi, terrible name by the way. What? Was that their name? Little What? And of course, Goombario, love that guy. Also, Cooper and Bombette? Okay, who cares? Goombario, man. Perhaps there's a proper big post-game side quest where you have to go back and, you know, collect all the gang once more. And maybe that's when you actually get to hear that classic theme being brought back. See, this idea makes a little more sense, as it gives a reason as to why we're specifically hearing the Paper Mario 64 intro right here. If you're about to go on an adventure to retrieve all the guys from Paper Mario 64, you know, it's fitting to hear music from that game. But again, I'm not too sure that this is the case, because let's say they did add these cameos back in. They're probably just going to be cameos on the same level as Lady Bow. Like, oh hey, there's Goombario, how you doing, bud? Oh, you're on a vacation with your family? Great to hear. Oh, that's it? Alright, bye then. So, that leaves us with option C. Nintendo's doing their own thing, which... I don't know how to predict that. The big issue with Nintendo is that they are kind of unpredictable, really. That's why I love them so much. You never know what they're gonna do. One second, they're crapping the bed. The next second, hey, we made the Switch an actually good system. One second, the Mario RPG franchises are all terrible and dead and decrepit, and then hey, look, we've got Sparks of Hope, and a remake of the original Mario RPG, and also we're bringing back Thousand Year Door. No Mario Luigi though, you can die. So while this is most likely what Nintendo's going to do, especially when you consider the other small changes Nintendo's made to the game, such as the inclusion of a proper catalog in the battle system itself, having kind of voice noises which are very Mario Luigi-esque for each character, and having back sprites finally for the partners, it still just doesn't quite explain why Paper Mario 64 title screen music. Why? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it. I think it sounds great, but I still just don't understand why it's here, why it was made. And to be honest with you, I don't think we're gonna get an answer to that for, well, pretty much to the next Direct, being honest with you. So yeah, that's it then, end of the video. Not quite, there is one more change that I'd like to discuss here. Okay, well, technically there's 2, but the Bowser one, funnily enough, isn't that interesting. Bowser doesn't say Airhead anymore, he says Lunkhead. I don't get what this means, exactly. Airhead isn't too offensive of a term, and I don't know, I'm gonna be honest with you, Lunkhead just sounds funnier. So it could just be translation, maybe? That they've took a term that is more fitting of what the original Japanese version of his dialogue said, but I don't really know. Lunkhead and Airhead aren't exactly terms I use often myself, so I don't really know the history of them. Alright, on to the final bit. You know the funny robot thing that Peach interacts with in every single in-between chapters bit? Well, yeah, apparently they've gotten red contact lenses, because now their eye is red. In many releases of Thousand Year Door, the color of Tech... was that his name? Tech? I think so. The color of the funny robot dude's eye was blue, but in the original Japanese version of the game, it was red. Now, why was it changed from red to blue? Maybe because red evil, blue good and calm, but I don't fully understand. What I do understand though is that they reverted it back to red in this remake. Which begs the question, are they going to change more things back to how they're like in the original? Maybe, maybe not. I don't fully know. Anyway, who misses Toadsworth? I certainly do. It has been ages since he's been seen in pretty much anything, let alone had a somewhat major role, which is why this remake is great. We're finally gonna get to see Toadsworth again. I know this does not relate to the video pretty much at all, because we don't actually see him in the trailer, but like, Toadsworth, man! Hi-ho! And all that. So, yeah. That's truly the end of this video now. Quite a speculatory one, but just with the amount of times we watch trailers, trailer singular, I just felt like I needed to really talk about all these things I spotted, you know? So, leave a like if you enjoyed the video or want to come back to it. Don't know why I want to come back to it, other than to congratulate me for being entirely right or entirely wrong in the comments, which, also comment, maybe, if you care. If you don't, you know what? Fair enough. And if you've watched all my videos at this point, please do consider subscribing. I don't understand the YouTube algorithm, so maybe one day I'll stop showing up on your feed. So, subscribe now to make sure that doesn't happen. Alright, bye-bye.